Today we're working on rounding decimals. There will be some notes and examples, so make sure you pause the video now and find some paper and something to write with so you can work along with me. When we round numbers, we're going to follow 3 steps. Step 1 is going to be underline the target. And when we say target, we're talking about place value. And make sure you're writing all of these steps down. And I want you to underline where I underline, and later I'm going to circle stuff, so you're going to circle where I circle as well. Step 2, look to the right and circle it. Step 3, look at the circled number. And if that circled number is 0 to 4, you're going to keep the target the same. And if that circled number is 5 through 9, you're going to add 1 to the target. And again, make sure you pause the video and get all of this written down because we're going to use it for our examples and for your assignment today. So now let's do some examples together. Write down your first example, which is 0 and 643 thousandths. And let's round it to the tenths place. And we'll use the steps that we wrote down before. Step 1 says to underline the target, which is the place value that they're asking about. Well, in this case, that's going to be the tenths place. And in this number, the 6 is in the tenths place. So we're going to underline the 6 in this number. Step 2 says look to the right and circle it. So we were at the underlined number. We're going to look to the right and circle it. So we need to circle the 4. Then step 3 says look at the circled number. So looking at the circled number, so in this case the 4, if that number is between 0 and 4, we're going to keep the target the same. So 4 is between 0 and 4. So that means we're going to keep the target number the same. So you just bring that target number straight down, and then everything on the left side of it comes down as well. So all of this comes down, including the decimal. So the decimal comes down and the 0 comes down. Everything on the right side of the target gets left behind. You don't bring it down. If you wanted to bring something down, you would bring down zeros, but it's not required. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them. And that's our answer. 6 tenths is the answer. For our next example, we'll use that exact same number. And again, make sure you're writing these on your paper as well. But this time we'll round to the hundredths place. So step 1 says underline the target, which is the place value we're looking for. So in this case, the hundredths. So in my number, I have the tenths, hundredths. So this time I need to underline the 4 since I'm rounding to the hundredths place. So underline the 4. Then I'm going to look to the right and circle it. So I was at the 4, now I'm going to look to the right and circle it. So this time I'm going to circle the 3. Step 3 says look at the circled number. So we're looking at the circled number. If it's between 0 and 4, we're going to keep the target the same. So this number, is it between 0 and 4? Yes, it is. It's a 3. So that means we're going to keep the target the same. So the 4, we just bring straight down. Keep it the same. And then everything on the left side of the target comes down. So all of this is on the left side of the target, so it all comes straight down. So I bring my 6, decimal, and 0 straight down. Everything on the right side of the target gets left behind, so we just leave the 3 behind. If we wanted to, we could bring a 0 down to show there's nothing there, but it's not necessary, so I'm going to remove it. And this is our answer, 64 hundredths. Notice I'm saying hundredths at the end, 64 hundredths, and that's where we were rounding to. So that's a quick way you can check your work as well. Because if we go back to our last example, 6 tenths, well, we said tenths last, and that's where we're rounding to. So it worked there as well. And let's do one more example. So let's use that same number, 0 and 64 thousandths. But this time we'll round to the nearest whole. Now, nearest whole, what that means is the ones place. And let's go through our steps again. Step 1, underline the target, which is the place value we're looking for. So the ones place this time, we're going to underline the ones place. So I have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, ones. So I need to underline the 0 in this case. Step 2, I'm going to look to the right and circle it. So I'm here, I'm going to look to the right and circle it. So I'm circling the 6. Step 3 says look at the circled number. So we're looking at the circled number. If it's between 0 and 4, well, 6 is not between 0 and 4. If it's between 5 and 9, and it is, so if it's between 5 and 9, we're going to add 1 to the target. So because this is between 5 and 9, I'm going to add 1 to the target. And 1 plus 0 is 1, so I'll write that 1 underneath. and then you bring everything to the left side down. Well, there's nothing to bring down, so nothing to bring down here. Everything on the right side gets left behind. It's always a good idea, though, to bring the decimal down, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my decimal straight down, and that's really good enough. So our answer is just 1. If I wanted to, I could put some zeros over here, but it's not necessary. The answer is 1.